All right.
Yeah, you go.
All right. Tonight we are going to put together an interview with Dad here, and we're going to talk about some things mostly about how he and Mom met and some of the events that occurred in that took place. And we're just going to make it very candid, and we don't have any set questions that we put together or anything. We're just going to go from the top of our heads here. But anything else?
The date.
Today's date is December 26th, 1998. And I guess we're ready to go.
Who are you?
I'm
Steve.
Steve.
You know, generations from now. Steve who?
Steve Ora.
You're the baby.
Okay. We met. It wasn't an official meeting. I saw her and she saw me. I remembered her, but she didn't remember me. But this was at Monroe Hot Springs, sometime in June, I think. I was home on furlough. It was 1946, about June. I was discharged from service in October. I was home on furlough prior to being discharged. Came home from Fort Benning, Georgia, where I was spending out the last months of my military career during the big WW2. We were over, my friend Garth Campbell and I had a couple of girls with us, and we were over at the Monroe Hot Springs having a sandwich and dancing at a place called Monroe Hot Springs.
Dad, how old were you?
I was, well, this was 1946. I was 22. And had been in the Army for about 15 months, 15, 16 months at the time.
Wait, I thought you were 22 when you got married.
Yeah, transition.
40, well, it was 46. I went in the Army in 45. Went in the Army in 1945. And got out in 1946. Oh, I was 20. Yeah, I was born in 26. Okay.
Okay. Trying to keep you honest here.
I have a hard time with numbers. But anyway, I was home on furlough. We were over there, and Don was over there with some friends, some Richfield kids, and I knew some of the Richfield kids. And when I saw her with them, I thought, gee, what's that old girl? I don't know what I meant by old, except I thought she was about 18 or 20. How come she was with those 15, 16-year-old kids whom I knew from Richfield? But I didn't think much more of it. I went to the jukebox to put a nickel in. You get a lot for a nickel in those days. Put a nickel in the jukebox to play a tune, and Donna was just walking away from the jukebox at that time, and as she was walking away, some Western music, some crazy Western music came on. And I loathe Western music. And I said, did you play that? And she kind of stuck her nose up in the air and walked away, and I don't know whether she said no, or what do you think, or what, but I don't remember much reaction except that she kind of scowled at me. That had to have been a Friday night, because the next day was Saturday, and we were going over to the place where we all went to dance in Sevier County, the American Legion Hall in Elsinore, Utah. It's right off the main drag as you're going through Elsinore. We danced to Perk Chittister's orchestra. Perk Chittister played the piano, his wife played the rhythm, and they had a guitar or another instrument or two, and they really made good music. We had a great time dancing there every Saturday night. And Garth and I, as we were spending the few days during our furlough together, he said, well, now, the girls that we were going to take out tonight are unavailable. They happened to be telephone operators. They were twins. Twins who were telephone operators, and they had to work. One of them had to work that night, and the one that he was going with was available, but I didn't have a date. So he says, "How'd you like to call Dawn?" Well, incidentally, after I came back from the jukebox the night before, I don't know if I made any comment or not about this cute little girl over there, but he says, "I'll introduce you if you want. I know her." And I says, no sense tormenting myself. I don't want to meet her. I'm going back to the service in a few days, and I may never see her again. But the next day, when we were thinking of going to the dance, he said, "Let's call Dawn." Alma Dawn, he called her, I'm sure. "Let's call Alma Dawn and see if she's available." And so I thought, well, nothing to lose, so we gave her a call. And I don't remember whether I called or he called, but at any rate, we got her on the phone, and I think I must have said, "I saw you over at the Hot Springs last night, and do you remember me? And were you available tonight," or whatever. And she didn't remember me. Of course, since we've been married for all these many years, I can understand how that could have happened. But at any rate, I asked her if we were going to the dance, and would she be available to go? And she said yes. So we went over and picked her up over at Salina, Salina, where she lived. And we drove over to Elsinore, which was, Salina's 20 miles north of Richfield, and Elsinore is about 5 miles south. So we drove down to Elsinore to the dance and had a really good time. I remember that my sister, Maxine, I don't know whether Dawn remembers that, but Maxine and Boyd were there, and they saw her, and they were really impressed, and they were also thinking, she's got to be 18 or 20 years old, because she's quite a mature young lady. And we had a good time. We, after the dance was over, I don't remember an awful lot that happened in the dance, except that we danced together all night. When we went home, as we were driving home, it's probably a new record for me, because I don't think we were more than 200 yards away from the front door of the Legion Hall when I kissed her the first time. And she responded, and thought that was nice. I don't know if it surprised me or not, but it was pleasant. It was. And don't remember anything beyond that. Took her home. We drove forward to Salina and said goodnight. And I can't remember whether I asked her then or whether I knew it was going to happen, but the next 2 or 3 days we're going to have a chicken fry up in Monroe Park, up above Monroe, which is quite close to the Hot Springs. I have a nice little park up there, and we went up there for a chicken fry. And so I went up there, and some of us went off in one direction to pick up wood, and some of them went in another direction to pick up wood. But Dawn and I spent a good share of our time on one of the picnic tables, just visiting. And I really enjoyed being with her, and we had time to talk while we were at the dance, and I guess we talked about a variety of things, my military experience and what I was doing, and just whatever it took to get acquainted. And during the chicken fry, the same thing. I can't remember how the chickens turned out, but typically when you think of chicken fries up in the canyon, it's usually raw chicken. Pardon me? Oh, I thought you were telling me to look at my watch. So So anyway, as we drove back from Monroe after the chicken fry, and there were probably about 4 or 5 couples, because not only Garth and myself, but a couple of the other guys in the neighborhood that we enjoyed going with. But as we were coming back, we were driving, and I can just picture it now, just between Monroe and Richfield. We were sitting in the back seat. I had my arms around her. It was just very cozy and pleasant, not passionately passionate, but pleasant. And I remember that on the radio, there were a variety of songs being sung, and one of them at that moment was The Girl from Utah. The Girl That I Marry, etc. Now this is the part that I've told some of the grandkids, and they haven't seemed to be particularly impressed. I was impressed. And I've been kind of disappointed when I told it that there's no particular reaction. But it meant a lot to me. And even though it was just our second date, I learned during those few hours together gee, I think this is going to happen.
We knew it.
But anyway, yeah, it's happened before. But I learned in those few hours that this was a quality person. We didn't talk values or goals or aims of the future, I don't think. But she came across to me as a person of quality. And so, while I was holding her, I'd have to edit some of this. While I was holding her, I prayed. That if possible, something might come of this. But if not, if I was not fortunate enough to be the one, that she would get someone who was worthy of it. I haven't gotten this emotional before I've talked to the grandkids, and so I don't think they were stony, unreacting because of that, because they couldn't handle my emotions. I just, like to say, have wondered, well, for whatever reason, maybe they weren't as impressed. But anyway, we got home, and that was the end of another date, and I was going to go back to the service for another 3 months. And I knew that was the end of that, encounter. But I don't really remember whether I asked her to commit to writing me while I was gone, but I think we must have. And I think during the course of the next 3 months or so, she might have written 2 or 3 times, sure. But I'm not sure how many times I wrote, maybe 2 or 3 times, I don't know. But then, when I came home in October, I wanted to look her up as soon as I could, and it went on from there. Now, how far do you want me to go?
Well, at what point, you wrote letters during
A few times, 2 or 3. It was nothing romantic or special or relating to any kind of a commitment or anything. If it happened, like I say, I'm not sure it happened.
So you don't remember the thoughts you had as far as